In today's world, our lives are full of distractions, all incredibly easy, accessible. We're never really bored, and no one likes boredom, I suppose, but I'm starting to fall in love with it because it changed my life for the better. It's not that easy to explain, but in this video, I'm gonna tell you a bit how a lack of boredom ruins your life, and in reverse, how boredom can improve it. And I will talk about how you can find a balance between being busy and being bored, which is quite important because you actually want to get stuff done, right? And I'll also try to explain to you how you can be bored in a practical way because right now it's probably something kind of abstract for you. Before we do that, let's clear up what being bored actually means. Boredom, by definition, is an emotion characterized by uninterest in one's surroundings, often caused by a lack of distractions or occupations. But what does that really mean? Boredom is sort of what you feel when you don't have anything to do. You know, when you're not distracted, basically. And there's the key, because boredom is the absence of distraction. And if you keep that in mind, boredom is the absence of distraction, that's going to help us understand a lot more about how we can use it for our own benefit. You probably know how I don't know if it's a saying, but people get their best ideas in the shower or while taking a walk or whatever. And that's actually very true if you think about it. For me, my personal best thoughts are often when I do these sorts of boredom sessions, which I'll get back to later, I'll explain that. But basically just when I'm occupied with my hands, with something where I don't really have to think, like not with a phone or whatever, just maybe taking a walk. And I waste my time a lot doing like random stuff, for example, looking at my YouTube analytics. But after what I call boredom session, I already talked about this a little bit, I immediately go back to the things that actually matter, and I do things that are purposeful, because you probably can relate. You're constantly, you're of course always trying to do something purposeful, but distractions are everywhere nowadays, and I don't blame you because it's just incredible. Everywhere you look, it's just so easy to grab your phone and watch some YouTube shorts or whatever. But after these boredom sessions, it becomes way easier for me to just stick to doing something that is purposeful. And to give you an example, for the past few weeks, actually not even days, and today as well, and tomorrow and next few days as well, I've been studying for my finals exams. I've done one exam is done. I have two more left, one tomorrow, so wish me luck on that. But yeah, these are basically studying for this is what I've struggled with a lot, because I'm going to be honest, I'm not perfect. I get distracted very easily, which is also why I came across this topic of boredom. But these boredom sessions, they helped me a lot, getting rid of those distractions in a way. And after I did those, it was just way easier for me to, get back to studying, and actually studying for like 3, 4, or even 5 hours on end. So this is amazing. After doing this, for example, I went to study, I read books, I went to go outside and play basketball or whatever, just doing something that is not wasting your life away, basically. So we have 2 benefits already. First of all, getting good ideas, and secondly, doing meaningful things. Let's quickly get into how lack of boredom is ruining your life, because it will help you understand how you can reverse this and benefit from boredom. I'm just gonna talk about some things that I usually do instead of being bored. So, like distractions I have. Um, and I want you to try to notice the things that you yourself do, which maybe you haven't really noticed, but after that, I will try to tell you how you can get rid of those distractions. So the first one is just AFK turning on my phone, and this is something I struggle with a lot. And I'm gonna be honest, I bet you struggle with this as well because it's just it's something everybody struggles with. You just it's just incredible how you do whatever thing you're supposed to do and suddenly you don't even notice it. Suddenly you have your phone in your hand, open something. It's really crazy. For example, I think 2 days ago, I was studying for my exam, like I already told you, and I was doing a few math exercises, and suddenly I just noticed like I've been on my phone for 10 minutes. I have not even realized it. And if you think about it, that's just crazy because what I'm effectively doing is just, grabbing some time I have, and instead of using it, doing something good, I waste it away. I throw it away. And you do that. You do that too, probably, I suppose. And that's something really hard to battle because these phone addictions are really they are really inside of us. They are. I'm trying to find a good word here, but they are engraved in us. Maybe that's the right word. I'm not sure. But we've been doing this for so long and haven't even noticed it. So it's something really, really hard to get rid of, and I'm still trying to figure this out myself. But I guess these boredom sessions, which I'll get back to later, I already teased it a bit. These will definitely help you with staying away from doing this, with staying away from like grabbing your phone every fucking every opportunity you get. So quickly, what I've just realized is a simple way you can actually get rid of this is, first of all, if you're going outside and if you're going outside and doing something where a phone is not required, for example, just going for a walk, then just don't take your phone with you, or maybe even go to the gym. But I'm not really sure about that because maybe you want to listen to music, but we'll get to that too in a minute. But yeah, I've always taken my phone everywhere. Also grabbing at just every room I go. For example, when I go to the living room, I just grab my phone. Sorry. I just grab my phone and take it with me for whatever reason, even if I'm just heading to the kitchen real quick to try to grab something to eat. I'll take my phone with me, so the chances of me just opening it up and doing something on it just increase dramatically. So I guess what you can do to prevent this, or not prevent this, but try to decrease the amount of time you just grab your phone randomly is, I suppose, by just leaving it somewhere where you don't really, see it. Just, for example, when you try to study, just put your phone in a different room, because it's going to prevent you from just grabbing it AFK. I talked about this, that happens a lot, but basically you want your stupid brain to you want to prevent your dumb part of your brain from just doing these impulsive things, and an easy way you can do that is by just removing the opportunity. Okay, so let's get to a second thing I wrote down, which is constantly listening to music. This is something that I'm not quite sure yet if it's really that bad, but if you do it constantly, like I already said, it's really bad. For example, I listen to music pretty much every time I go somewhere by bike. I just grab my in-ear headphones and listen to music. Um, and a few weeks or months ago, whenever I was home, I just listened to music in every single room, just grabbing um, my music box with me like every time. And many people are saying like degenerate music is bad for you, and I'm not referring to any of this. I think the type of music you listen to doesn't really matter. Well, maybe there's a difference between lyrical and non-lyrical music. So if you're just listening to sounds without any lyrics, it's probably better because it doesn't distract you as much. But if you listen to Justin Bieber or Drake, I don't think there's any difference. It doesn't really matter. So what listening to music, why it's bad for you when you're constantly doing it, is it's this basic concept of a lack of boredom again, which you probably understood by now. It's just that whenever you're listening to music, your brain is not really clear. Your brain is not really, it doesn't really have the opportunity to just think of thoughts for itself. For example, think of, what you're gonna eat in 2 hours, or what you're gonna do after your walk, or, just processing, for example, your feelings, even like maybe if your father hit you with a belt yesterday, your brain has no time to really process these things if you constantly listen to music. And I did this even in the shower. For example, when I was showering, I was just blasting music, and not even in the shower where people usually have, their thinking time, their quiet time. It's really typical. Even then, my mind wasn't clear, I was also distracted, and that was just really, really bad. It's incredible, really. And also, just, I think this is really important, and also, it's also really easy to fix when you're commuting somewhere, let it be work or school or whatever. Maybe you're walking or cycling to a friend. Don't listen to music whilst you're doing that. Really try to do that. I love music, and I would not cut out music at all because I just think it's a beautiful form of art. But you should definitely try to reduce it, at least if you're listening to music a lot, or if if you struggle with distractions, etc. So yeah, try to at least cut it out when you're commuting somewhere, when you're going somewhere. These are reasons. I kind of argue inside my brain. This devil on my shoulder and the angel on the other shoulder. The devil always telling me, listen to your music. It doesn't really matter. Who gives a fuck? The angel trying to convince me that, I shouldn't be distracted all the time, etc., etc. You get the point. When the angel wins and I don't listen to music, I do not regret it at all, because it's really funny. Every time I don't listen to music, I'm not distracted. I just go by bike to the gym, for example, without listening to music. I get so many. First of all, I get so many nice ideas, like I already talked about that. I just think of things to do, think of stuff I should write people, of maybe video ideas even. And secondly, I just appreciate the moment more. I just enjoy, the weather, the sounds of nature, the people walking by, the sun just on my skin. I just appreciate the world more, and this makes me feel so much happier with myself, and just more, more satisfied with life, which I've been struggling a lot with in the past years. So constantly listen to music, you get that it's bad. Don't cut out music entirely if you really like it. I do, so don't do that. But try to at least minimize the time you listen to music. The next thing is doom scrolling on social media, and this is not something new to you. And even for me, and I'd say I'm pretty advanced on all this stuff, self-improvement or whatever you'd call it. I still catch myself just being on social media for maybe even 1 or 2 hours, and it's always when I'm really tired after a workout or whatever. After I just ate a lot of carbs, which is something bad as well. You probably know this, but so this doom scrolling on social media, I haven't really quite found the answer yet. I suppose it's easy to prevent this by just not grabbing your phone at all, but oh, I just realized I do have the answer. Well, partly. I hope if you're watching this, you do not have TikTok, because it's just a terrible platform. But I myself have been deleting pretty much almost every social media except YouTube, because I just, there's just really good content out there, and I oftentimes actually need it to search for something. So deleting YouTube is not an option for me. And I sometimes catch myself, or I caught myself, because I'm not doing it anymore, clicking on shorts, that were just grabbing my attention. And I think you can't prevent your brain from being hooked by these things you see, but what you can do, and this really worked well for me, is if you don't know this, maybe this is old information for you, then I'm sorry, but there's an app called No Scroll, and if you download it, you can you could disable any sort of short form content. So I did this, and I really recommend you to not, allow 1 minute of short form content. Just completely disable it. It's just better. So whenever I click on a YouTube short, which I'm not proud of, by the way, it just instantly closes. So I can't watch it. And, sometimes I click on it 3 times before I realize that I have no scroll installed, which is kind of dumb from me, but I guess I'm just AFK sometimes as well. But yeah, whenever this happens, I just realize, I was just about to do something really stupid. And, it makes me reflect a bit, and maybe then it even makes me close YouTube entirely and do something, meaningful, purposeful. So, yeah, it prevents doom scrolling a little bit. I think if you're watching long form content, it's still bad, but it's not as bad as watching shorts. They just really fry your brain. So, if you don't have No Scroll installed, really, you need it. Trust me, it helped me a lot. So another thing is watching videos whilst eating, and this is sort of similar to watching music while commuting, for example, but it's just that, nowadays we're always busy, we're always doing something, so it's common that even when you're eating, you're watching videos or whatever, and I'm guilty of that too. I do that a lot too. But what I'm trying to do is either do not watch anything at all, which is really hard for me. But it's pretty much the exact same thing. It's music. It's just when you don't do it, it's just free time for your brain to process things, and you're just going to be way much happier, etc., etc. You know the drill. But I, for example, I try to watch at least something like a podcast or a video that is more podcast-like, so not something hyper-edited, just, something that I'm interested in, something that is meaningful, or something that, not just opening YouTube or watching whatever's there, but actually thinking, what interests me right now and then searching for something like it. Or, for example, which I'm gonna be honest, I watch a lot of NBA games, basketball, because I just love the sport. I play basketball as well as a hobby. But so when I eat, I oftentimes just rewatch the games that happened, the last night. And I think honestly that is better than just opening YouTube and watching whatever, because I actively wanted to watch this. I'm not just watching anything that is in front of me, and I think that's better. Okay, so next thing is, and this is something, it's not really a distraction, but it's very, very much worth noting, and it's whenever I spend less time being bored. So when I do all the bad stuff, when I'm always distracted, the things I talked about, listening to music, doom scrolling, watching videos whilst eating, what I tend to realize is that my room is more of a mess. So this is a symptom or sign. If you look at your room right now, maybe you're in your room, maybe you're not. You probably know how it looks like. If your room is messy, then you're probably always busy, because you're always distracted, because you're never bored, because you always do these dumb habits that I'm talking about right now. So this is kind of a sign or symptom of whether you're bored enough. So if your room is a mess, then you need to implement some of the things I'm talking about, and I will be talking about as well, because they're just going to help you, trust me. Recently, my room has been looking better, which is a great sign for me, because I've been also less distracted, and I talked about this, but I've been just progressing a bit when it comes to being bored, etc. I'm, like I already said, I'm kind of starting to fall in love with it. So let's talk about the last thing, that is multi-screening. And I'm guilty of that sometimes too, but the last few days or weeks, really, I can't remember when I did that. But multi-screening is basically when you watch something like on TV or on a tablet, and then open your phone at the same time and do something on there. And that is just, it's incredible what we've come to in the 21st century, but we're just wasting away in an incredible amount of time. An incredible, just, I don't know, the impact is really not good that these phones and all that are having on us. So it's just set yourself this rule that do not multi-screen. So when you watch something on TV, don't take your phone out, except maybe you're actively like wanting to write a friend. And this is also like the point one I was making earlier, AFK, turning on your phone. Sometimes or oftentimes multi-screening happens unconsciously. So you're just not really noticing it. You're not actively trying to multi-screen. You're doing it on accident. So the way you can prevent this is just by, for example, when you're watching something while eating on your tablet, which I do most of the times, just don't have your phone near you. Just put it in a different room. You're not gonna just stand up whilst eating. You're not just gonna stand up and grab your phone from the other room. So that's gonna help you prevent it a bit. But just set yourself this rule: don't multi-screen. It's bad for you, trust me. Just don't do it. Try to avoid it. So now let's get to how you can really try to, find a good balance between being busy and bored, because I've now talked a lot about, all these distractions we have, and you can pretty much be bored as much as you want, and it's better than, being busy all the time, because being busy in today's world basically means wasting our time doing meaningless stuff. Being bored is actually better than being busy most of the times, but finding the balance is easy, because there's a really high percentage that you are not bored enough. So just try to be bored more, because it's not easy, and it's sort of like trying to implement a new habit, or trying to go to the gym more. You're not going to go to the gym every single day, which would be probably bad for you, going every single day without a rest. You're just trying to go as much as possible. So maybe you go 2 times a week, and that is way better than not going at all, obviously. But it's basically just try to do it as much as possible. I think it's impossible to be bored too much. So having this, balance is actually, I think it's pretty easy. And also, keep in mind that, being busy, when you actually have to do stuff, then you're not going to do these boredom sessions. What I mean by that is, when you, for example, have to go to the gym, you're not going to sit there and be bored. Instead of going to the gym, you're going to go to the gym and do the stuff that you wanted to do or you have to do. Boredom replaces not your meaningful and purposeful things you're doing, but it replaces the time you're wasting, the time you're just doing meaningless stuff like scrolling on your phone. So I hope you understand that by now. So let's get into how you can do this practically. And so the first step is just trying to notice that you need a boredom session. So when your brain is really fried, and mostly I realized this when I also feel bad about myself, because I've been scrolling a lot through social media or whatever, this is the perfect time to do a boredom session. And what I mean by a boredom session is, it sounds a bit cool. I think the term is great. I invented it, by the way. So if you're going to hear it somewhere else, it's from me. It's my term. A boredom session is basically just sitting somewhere, laying somewhere, staring at the wall or whatever, and just doing nothing with your hands, just sitting there for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. And it doesn't really sound cool, it doesn't really sound beneficial at all, but trust me, after these boredom sessions, even whilst being bored, the first 10 seconds you're gonna feel like, is this really necessary? Do I really have to do this? You're gonna, look for excuses to stop doing this boredom session. And after 30 seconds to a minute, your thoughts are gonna arise. The thoughts and the things that your brain wanted to process all day, but couldn't because you've been distracting it all the time. So what happens in these boredom sessions is that your brain gets through processing all these things that happened in your life today, and it can process all your bad feelings. You start to think of why you maybe should feel good. You get new ideas and all that good stuff. So that's what we're trying to achieve by the boredom sessions. And afterwards, you're very likely to do something meaningful. I already told you this, but after boredom session, you're not just gonna grab your phone and doom scroll again. You're probably gonna go to the gym or, whatever, maybe cook something to eat for your mom. Some wholesome thing, I don't know. So, before we end this, I want to test you, and I want to challenge you to a boredom duel. So what I mean by that is, first of all, if you're watching until now, your attention span is amazing, and maybe I've been actually good at talking, maybe not, maybe you're just bored, but all right, let's get to it. What I'm going to do right now is pretty simple, and it sounds boring, but it's going to help you if you do it. I'm just going to sit here and do nothing for the next 1, 2, or 3 minutes. And I want you to not click away. I want you to actually use this and just look at me. Do not grab your phone or whatever. Just look at me, look at your wall, whatever, until I start talking again. And just realize how this boredom session affects you. Just Just feel the thoughts arise. And I've recently uploaded a video saying that I feel like my life is going nowhere. And since then, a lot has changed because I've now been feeling way better and all that. And it's also due to these boredom sessions. So let's do that right now. We're gonna start. I'm just looking at the camera, looking wherever. Don't click off. Use this. You probably need this session. Just sit there and do nothing for the next 1, 2, or 3 minutes. And if you can do this, then you're on a really good path, and I'm impressed by you. So let's start. Oh, by the way, I'm in a bathtub right now, if you haven't noticed, but so I'm really comfortable right now. You bored yet? I hope so. I really hope so. Keep going. Don't open your phone, don't do anything, just stare at your wall. We're gonna end soon, don't worry. Alright, I think that might be enough, at least for now. So, I'm pretty sure if you've gone through this right now, at the first maybe even minute or so, your brain just flooded you with thoughts, and then with the time, your mind got clearer and clearer, and you've been, sorting your thoughts out and feeling a bit better, and, maybe planning out what you're going to do afterwards or whatever, or just thinking of things that you forgot that were important, for example. So I hope that you realized how powerful even these short sessions can be. So keep this in mind. Whenever whenever you feel like your life is, you're very busy, you're distracting yourself a lot, just take a few deep breaths, sit somewhere and just do nothing for 5, 10 minutes. Just sit there. You probably realize that it helps a lot, so try to do that. I've talked a lot about, phone and how the phone usage and social media addiction prevents you from, doing these boredom sessions and being bored more often. And, with this addiction, it will be really hard to get to be doing these sessions more. So I'm currently in the process of figuring out how to get rid of this addiction completely. I've gotten better a lot, but I'm still, I've still haven't finished it. I'm still a bit addicted, at least, to social media and my phone, etc. So once I figured this out entirely, if that's even possible, I will create a full guide to getting rid of your getting rid of your phone or social media addiction, and I will post it on YouTube for free. So if you'd like to see that in the future, if you enjoyed this video, then just hit the subscribe, and I'll try to upload it maybe in the next month or so. But I'll be uploading other stuff as well that might be interesting to you. I'm working on a video currently about how I cured my loneliness, which, if you're feeling bad about yourself, look out for that, because it's really good, trust me. It has a lot to do with just, not without just getting rid of your loneliness without needing other people. It's just you against yourself. And I've realized this way too late, but if you really learn to love yourself, and this sounds really vague right now, but I'll explain it in the video. It's going to be a lot easier to feel good about your life, etc. So if you want to see that, subscribe if you want to, hear more from me on this channel. With that said, I wish you an amazing day, and peace out.